Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I hope you're ready because today's Reddit story is chef's kiss, full of drama, spicy, a little bit sad, just how we like them.
Nice.
Strap in and let's get into it. Is this thing on? You ready? Let's go. Am I the asshole for wanting to uninvite my sister-in-law for my wedding because she keeps undermining my wedding planning? Okay. Just from the get-go, I think I'm more on the bright side on this one. I do feel like she's probably not the asshole because if you decide to uninvite someone as important as the sister-in-law from the wedding, who's supposed to be, an actual close family member to the groom, then that's not an easy decision to make. And the sister-in-law must have done something pretty bad. So let's see what this is about. Sorry, even after removing some stuff, this turned out to be really long. Throwaway, so hopefully Kayla doesn't find this. My fiance Nate, 27M, and I, 26F, have been together for 3 years. Okay, decent amount of time for a relationship. He proposed to me about 6 months ago, and shortly after, we found out I was pregnant. Ooh, okay. We are planning on having our wedding in the spring of next year. Nate has a twin sister, 27F, who we'll call Kayla. Okay, so we have all the main characters for this story. We have OP, who is 26F. Nate, the groom-to-be, is 27M. And the main villain is Kayla, 27F. Nate and I announced our engagement and my pregnancy at the same time. We made a cute little Facebook post with a couple engagement pics and an ultrasound photo that said something along the lines of, the Smith family is going to have 2 new additions. Oh, this is a really good idea. I love it. So cute. Okay. Kayla commented almost immediately that we will have to wait until next year to actually get married because she looks best in fall colors. Okay. I'm not seeing where this is about you, Kayla, but okay. And as my maid of honor, she'll get a say in choosing bridesmaids' dresses. I literally stared at my phone screen wondering if I read something wrong. I showed the comment to Nate and asked him why she thought she would be my maid of honor. He had no clue. Okay, so this is already not faring well. She's already decided that she's the maid of honor without even consulting the bride and deciding that the wedding is going to be next year because she looks so nice in fall colors. I'm sorry, but I think we are dealing with a case of a very delulu sister-in-law. And Nate... okay, well, so far Nate hasn't said much, but... So I texted her, and this is how that exchange went. Me. Hey, Kayla. I see you saw our announcement on Facebook. Thank you for being ready to step up for me, but we haven't started working out wedding logistics yet, and I haven't picked my bridesmaids, much less my maid of honor. Once we have more details of the wedding worked out, we will let you know. Kayla. Well, you don't have to choose a maid of honor anymore. I'm your maid of honor. Me. I don't understand. I never asked you to be? Kayla. You don't have to ask. That's what makes me such a good sister. Well, sister, but yeah. Me. I'm sorry, you're not my maid of honor. Kayla, we'll see about that. I showed these messages to Nate, who said he would deal with it. I have no idea what the extent of their conversation was, but Kayla never brought up being my maid of honor again. Good. She just reared her ugly attitude in different ways.
Of course she would. Why wouldn't she?
Why would she make this process any easier? As of now, Nate and I have booked the venues, caterer, the floors, decorations, and the DJ already. A couple months ago, I invited mine and Nate's mothers along with my sister Sam, who I asked to be my maid of honor. As you should. I mean, I'm sorry, but maid of honors are usually the bride's sister, the bride's best friend, maybe a close cousin at best. Very, very, very rarely is it the sister-in-law. I don't know why Kayla would just assume that she is the maid of honor. To do some dress shopping. Kayla found out from her mom and invited herself to tag along. Of course she did. Of course. We started by looking for a dress for Sam. I wanted my bridesmaids in a pretty pastel yellow, but Sam's is going to be more golden. Kayla would not shut up about how yellow is such an ugly color and I should go with pink or blue. Girl, is this a gender reveal? Why would it be pink or blue? She even grabbed a bunch of pink and blue dresses to try on herself. Well, good for you, honey. If you like the pink and blue dresses, buy them. Knock yourself out. Don't expect them to be in the wedding, though. I tried my best to ignore her while her mother entertained her bizarre ideas. You see, I think this is part of the problem. It seems like the mom is really enabling the sister-in-law, sorry, Kayla, and just really reinforcing those thoughts of delusions. Sam and my mother were making constant comments about how it's my wedding, and if Kayla isn't going to be helpful, she should just leave. Go mom and go Sam. She should just leave. Unfortunately, she didn't, and I'm too nice to kick her out in front of my mother-in-law, who I already have a strained relationship with. Of course you do. I'm sorry. Most of the time, if you don't have a good relationship with the sister-in-law, that affects your relationship with the mother-in-law. Although I'm not sure this is what is directly affecting it, but you know. Our mothers were able to shop for their dresses with little interference from Kayla. But as soon as I started trying things on, she had all sorts of things to say. Of course she did. It's Kayla. Kayla always has something to say, doesn't she? She would tell me that certain styles wouldn't look good once I had a baby bod. Oh my god. No, she didn't. That is so freaking rude. And even told me I should consider not wearing white since I'm obviously not a virgin. I told her she wasn't a virgin either when she got married. The freaking audacity. What a freaking hypocrite. Oh my god. I'm getting heated about this. Why would she even say that? It's so horrible. I mean, I feel so bad for OP because going wedding dress shopping is such like, I don't know, a vulnerable moment, something you look forward to since you were a little girl. And to have someone so vile just ruin your experience, I feel so sorry for OP. I wish when she had seen that she had, just crashed the event, she should have just not tried on any wedding dresses and stuck to the bridesmaid dresses and the mom's dresses because she kind of just ruined the experience, didn't she? Of course she did. Yet she still wore an adorable white sundress to the courthouse. She grumbled about how that wasn't the same, but I was already halfway back to the changing room. I still don't know what happened while I was in there, but when I came out, Kayla and mother-in-law were gone, and Sam had a smug smile on her face. Go Sam! This is why she's the maid of honor. Hell yeah, I do wish we knew what she told them though, to get them to leave. I never discussed any details of the wedding with Kayla if I could help it, but I've heard Nate share some of our plans with her. He told her we were planning on a buffet-style meal because we have a lot of dietary restrictions in our family, and that was the cheapest way to accommodate everybody. Literally like a few $1,000 difference. Sounds pretty okay to me. And she told him he deserved someone who wouldn't go cheap on his wedding, even though the buffet was his idea. He told her about our venue choices. He picked the reception venue, I picked the ceremony venue, which is the same place my parents got married. My father passed away, and since he cannot walk me down the aisle, I always wanted to get married in the same place he married my mom, to sort of feel like he was there. Oh, this is a really sweet sentiment. Like he was there with us. She told Nate that my venue choice was tacky, and people would make fun of us. Okay. When he mentioned he wanted a DJ, she made a comment about how she knew I wasn't classy enough to want a live band. Each and every time she would make a comment like this, Nate would tell her that they were his ideas, but not call her out on how she spoke about me. Red flag. I am not liking Nate's energy in this, I'm sorry. This is his sister we're talking about, and it seems like he's not doing much to stop her, harassment. I think this is actually harassment. I'm sorry, I've never had this many opinions on anybody's weddings. I don't think I've even had this many opinions on my own wedding, so Kayla is so out of line here. He's not setting any boundaries with her and just letting his fiance deal with it, and I'm not liking that vibe at all. But not call her out for how she spoke about me, which I do feel a little hurt by. A little. I'm sorry, I would freak if I was in her situation. I've expressed this to him, and he told me that he would try to do better about calling her out. But she's always been this way. So, just because someone's always been this way it means like we shouldn't call them out. We should just let them be a terrible person. Isn't this his twin sister? He should be the one clocking this behavior the most. I told him that's no excuse. Yes, it's not. For her to be disrespectful and stick her nose into business that doesn't concern her. He hesitantly agreed. I am not liking the sound of that one bit. I am sorry. And plus, hello, I think we know what's going on here. She had a courthouse wedding, apparently, and not an actual wedding with like a reception and a ceremony and whatever. So clearly this is wedding envy. and she wishes this was her wedding. But like, whatever, girl, you want a wedding, do your own wedding. You can still do that. Even if you wanted to renew your vows, you could still do that. You don't have to like jump on other people's wedding and like impose your ideas and your thoughts, because no one cares. Actually, no one cares. On Friday, I got an email from the venue for our ceremony confirming our cancellation and asking if we need to reschedule. Shortly after that, I got a voicemail from our caterer explaining that my new wedding planner had just called. Oh, what a coincidence. Wedding planner. But the line had dropped and was wondering if I could pass along her phone number so they could finish going over the changes to the menu. I immediately emailed the venue back saying that no, we are not canceling or rescheduling. Please keep our original date on the books. I called the caterer, who explained that a woman had called and said she was my new wedding planner. Did she now? She had said I wanted to make some changes to the contract, namely switching from a buffet style to plated meals. I told him that this was not the case. I do not have a wedding planner, and please do not make any changes unless contacted by me or Nate directly with the contact information we have on file. The caterer suggested putting a password on file also. Yes, this is a very good idea. I like this one. He said he wouldn't make any changes unless the person requesting them knew the password. I called both venues and our vendors to put in place the same type of precautions. They all gave their sympathies for me having to deal with this. Yeah, I feel so bad for OP. Oh my god, this is an actual freaking nightmare. She went as far as to call all of them and make these changes. Like, oh my god, I would go freaking insane. Someone would have to freaking hold me back from this girl. What the hell? Like, this is not your wedding, girl. This is your brother's wedding to his fiance. It has nothing to do with you. You're not even in the picture. It seems like, I'm sorry to say, but it feels like she wants to freaking marry her brother at this point. Why are you taking over the wedding? When Nate got home from work, I confronted him about it. I told him someone tried to cancel my venue and change our catering. I told him the only person it could be is Kayla. He tried to deny and said she wouldn't do it. But I reminded him of how she undermined and insulted me during every step of this engagement. How could he think it's not her? It's obviously her. Who else could it be? I'm sorry, you are not so famous that you have like enemies out there. It's only Kayla. I mean, I understand that it's your sister and you want to like defend her in some way, but this is like unexcusable. This is insane behavior. She's not normal. And he needs to like be aware of it. He is aware of this. He's just like trying to act blind to it. What is wrong with him? I told him I wanted her uninvited. Oh girl, I think this is the least. This is like the minimum of what you should be doing. I think you need her cut out from both of your lives because this is insane, especially with a baby coming. I fear for your life, girl. I will give someone... Oh, I think she meant I will not give someone who has already done so much to make this wedding stressful the opportunity to do something like show up in white. Oh, yes, she would. She would, and she was at your wedding dress shopping, so she knows your style. She would come with the exact style, except more fancy or more expensive. That's exactly what she would do. He fought me on this, but I basically told him that I felt disrespected by him over how he is allowing Kayla to treat me. Yeah. I'm sorry. Kayla might not even be the problem anymore. We need to focus on Nate here and his priorities. I'm his partner and the mother of his child. My feelings and comfort should be more important to him than his sister's childish antics. I think we are beyond childish antics here, honey. This is evil. This girl is evil and you need her just gone. We met with her for lunch earlier today, and once we got dessert, he asked her if she was trying to make changes to our wedding plans. She said, and I quote, "Well, yeah. It's the maid of honor's job to make sure the bride is making the right decisions." I'm sorry, what? I thought we cleared up the whole maid of honor thing like way earlier in the story. No way she's like being this delusional right now. I can't believe it. Before Nate could even say anything, I told her she's not my maid of honor. And even if she was, that would not give her the authority to undermine our decisions and make changes to the wedding plans and budget behind our backs. Yeah, it doesn't give the power to anybody, actually. There's nobody except the bride and the groom that can make these kind of changes. She said she didn't see what the big deal was, and since her grandmother had offered us a pretty large chunk of change as a present to help pay for the wedding. I'm sorry, is she insinuating that because her grandma gave some money, that gives her the authority to make any changes? It doesn't even give the grandma authority to make any changes. It was just a gift. I told her again, the wedding budget is none of her business. She tried to argue, but I just cut her off. I told her that her behavior regarding our wedding thus far has been nothing but disrespectful and insulting. I told her trying to cancel my venue had crossed the line, and she was no longer invited to the wedding. Yes, girl. Loving this. She seemed absolutely shocked by this. Oh, did she? Was this shocking to her? After all she's done, like this is shocking now? She looked at Nate, waiting for him to defend her. The audacity. And then he did. Okay, I did not expect that from Nate. He did. He looked at me and said, why don't we give her one more chance? I asked if he was kidding. He said no. That Kayla was only doing what she thought was best for us. And now that we've told her that it wasn't okay, we should give her another chance to correct her. I'm sorry, is Kayla a toddler? Why would she need this many chances to understand something is not right? I didn't even respond. Good for you. I just got up and left. I went and got into my car and drove home, thinking to myself if he wanted to side with his sister, then he could rely on her to get home. I ignore him trying to get a hold of me. Yeah, I think we are beyond Kayla and the wedding now. This story is about Nate from now on. Because what the hell was that, Nate? Hello? Once at home, I packed a small bag and left for Sam's house. I told her everything and she told me I could stay as long as I needed to. But now she's at work for the night and that's where I am now. Trying to process what just happened, trying to figure out when I became second place in Nate's life. Trying to figure out if there is any way to fix that what he just broke in me. I feel so bad for OP, and she's pregnant. During all of this, she's pregnant. I'm sorry, the stress cannot be any good for the baby. And it feels like no one is even thinking about that. He keeps switching between asking me where I am, telling me he didn't think this was that big of a deal, and apologizing, asking me to come home and talk. Yeah, Nate has no idea how bad this is. I think both him and his sister are just crazy and delusional. There's no other way to explain this because no sane person could see the situation and still excuse what Kayla was doing. Especially when it's between your wife and your twin sister. I mean, I know this is hard. It's a hard decision, but you're going to marry this woman. She's carrying your child. Sometimes these decisions are pretty easy to make. I don't feel ready to talk to him just yet. I'm still too upset and I feel like I'll do or say something I will regret, like call off the wedding altogether. I feel like at this point you need to. Even if you do get married to Nate, the wedding itself is ruined. Like you have to scrap that and start over without Kayla. I feel like the only way you can continue this relationship with Nate is if he actually clean cuts off his sister and probably his mom too. It's so insane to say. It's so hard to make these decisions, but it's the only way that Nate could salvage this now with her. In my opinion, I think they should both go their separate ways and call it quits, but, these decisions are not easy to make, certainly. I just told all my vendors that we aren't canceling the wedding, but right now, I kind of want to. I don't know if it's my hormones making me feel crazy or if I'm valid in how hurt I am feeling. I just don't know what to do or what to think. I'm sorry, I don't think this is really where hormones or anything like that. Anyone in this situation would feel the same way that OP is feeling. And I really hate when people try to blame big feelings and big reactions on, this is just pregnancy hormones, completely just erasing how OP is feeling right now. Sometimes it's not hormones, it's just the way you are feeling right now and it's totally valid. So, am I the asshole for not wanting to give her a second chance? Or is my fiance right that she deserves a chance to prove herself before she's uninvited from the wedding altogether? I think she's already proved herself plenty. TLDR, my sister-in-law continues to insult my wedding choices and try to cancel my venue and change my catering contract. I want her uninvited, but my fiance wants to give her another chance now that we've told her this behavior is unacceptable. We do have an update here, so we're going to refrain from doing our final judgment until we read the update. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who read my original post and offered their judgments and advice. Writing this out really helped me process what I was feeling, and hearing that I wasn't overreacting or just being hormonal from people that are removed from the situation was very comforting. I read every single comment, and there was no way to express how much all the kind words meant to me. There were lots of comments asking for an update, but I wanted to wait until after I had talked to Nate. Yeah, fair enough. Seems pretty important to the story. So, I spent last night at Sam's house and mostly ignored Nate's calls and texts. Kayla texted me once, also, telling me to not let my hormones make me irrational, of course. I just blocked her, but someone advised me to unblock and just silence her notifications, so if she escalates, I could maybe use it in court for my custody case. Oh, we're already talking custody. Seems like OP already made her decision. Okay. I did unblock her earlier today, and I'm glad I did, but we'll get there. I replied to Nate at one point last night telling him that I was safe and at Sam's house and that I would be home tomorrow, aka today after work, to talk about everything. I expressed again that I was feeling really hurt about not being heard or backed up by him and that I needed time to decide what I wanted to do. He asked what I meant by that. If I meant canceling the wedding altogether. Well, yeah, genius, have you not figured that out yet? I told him that is exactly what I was considering. His reply? Don't let your hormones make you do something irrational. We'll talk tomorrow. Yeah, I wonder where he got that line from. Anyone else want to take a guess as to where he got that line? Yeah, I think we know. That just about made my decision for me. I didn't reply, not even when he texted me, "Good night, I love you." Instead, before I went to bed for the night, I sent him a link to my post and told him to read through it before we talk. Someone said he probably sent it to Kayla too. If she did read it, she hasn't commented, and if she texted me about it, it was while I had her blocked. This morning, I called into work and had breakfast with Sam. She gave me the number of a family lawyer that her friend used for his custody case. I spoke to the assistant, explained my situation, and luckily she had a slot open after lunch for an initial consult. So I took a shower and basically just kept reading through the comments on my post until it was time to talk to her. I told the lawyer exactly why I'm leaving Nate and how I am terrified over how his sister would influence him with our baby. Oh yeah, I would be super scared about that as well. This is genuinely, I'm sorry to say, a nightmare situation. I just can't imagine how much Kayla would try probably to steal the baby. Even if not physically steal him away, but fill his head with ideas about his mom, his or her mom. I don't trust him to not be influenced by Kayla and to have our baby's best interest in mind. Yeah, I don't think I would trust him with that either. So I want to fight for sole custody and supervised visitation. Okay, I don't know much about these things, but I do think that would be really hard to get, in general. I told her, if possible, I want to include something that restricts Kayla from having any contact with my child. I mean, this is ideal, right? Ideal situation, but yeah, as I said, very hard to get. I'm already mentally preparing to have to fight Nate in court because I know he will not agree to any of this. My lawyer told me that while my concerns are valid, it might be difficult to convince a judge to put a contact restriction in the custody order based on family drama alone. Yeah, I don't think there's enough evidence here to secure exactly what OP wants. She advised me to document everything Kayla has done and anything moving forward so we can present it to the judge and when we end up in court. She gave me a list of things to think about, like if I want Nate to get any custody at all or just visitation, how I want to handle things with medical care or education for my child, if I want to put communication restrictions like only talking over text, lots of things I never would have thought of and never thought I would have to think of. We were supposed to do all of this together. Yeah, this is so hard for OP, I can tell. Nobody wants to go through something like this. She told me to take a few days to gather my thoughts and decide on what I want. I scheduled an in-person meeting for this Friday to go over everything. Hopefully, I will have my mind straight by then. But if anyone has any advice when it comes to what to put on these custody papers, I am all ears. After the phone call with my lawyer, I checked some more comments and then took a much-needed nap. When I woke up, I had a text from Nate asking what time I would be off work so he could have dinner ready for me when I get home. I told him I would be there around 5, but if Kayla is there, I will be turning around and leaving without a word. Yeah, good thinking. Warning about that because I do have a feeling she would have tried to muscle her way through this meeting with you, just like she did with the wedding dress shopping. Seems like her style. I then asked him if he read the post I sent him. He said, "I did, but I would rather talk to you than read you bash me and my sister on the internet with a bunch of strangers. Don't worry, I told Kayla she's not welcome." I can tell Nate is just like a piece of work, you know. I bet that the relationship was not fantastic already to begin with. And this part, "Don't worry, I told Kayla she's not welcome," this implies that Kayla definitely wanted to be there, but he had to tell her to not come. Yeah. This pissed me off beyond belief. Clearly, he either didn't read the post or still doesn't realize how truly in the wrong they are here. Oh, believe me, he does not know. He does not know at all how wrong they are here. He probably thinks you are so overreacting because of your pregnancy. Either way, I lost all motivation to try and talk to work things out. I'm just done. Yeah, I think we're all done with you, OP. I texted him, don't worry about dinner. All I'll be doing is gathering some more things and dropping off my lawyer's contact info. There's nothing more for us to discuss. Oh, I bet he was pretty shocked about this part. He asked what I meant. What lawyer? And told me he's been waiting to talk about this. All I said was, fine. Yeah, I really wonder what he thinks he has to say here. Clearly he doesn't. If you don't even realize the gravity of the situation, honestly, like, how much do you even have to say here? Sam wished me luck before I left and assured me I was welcome back once we were done talking. I told her I absolutely would be back and thanked her for everything so far. Then I stopped and got one of those boba refreshers from Starbucks to calm my nerves before I went home. Thanks for the detail. When I got home, Nate had dinner ready just like he said. I ignored him and went straight to our room to pack up some more of my clothes and toiletries. He tried asking me if I really wasn't going to talk to him, but I just ignored him for the time being. Just seeing his face made my anger flare up, and I wanted to be smart about our discussion. After a while, he gave up and just went to eat in the dining room. When I was finished, I went and sat with him at the table, but didn't touch any of the food. I started a voice memo on my phone before I said, go ahead. That's really smart. Smart move with the voice memo. He looked at me all confused, so I told him he was the one that wanted to talk and must have so much to say. So, go ahead. I love OP. She's so cool. He stumbled over his words for a while, but ultimately started off with an apology, trying to tell me he didn't realize I was so upset with Kayla's behavior. Liar. Of course he knew. How could he not know? I asked him if he remembered how hard I cried after I got home from dress shopping because of her comments about my choices and my body. If he remembered having to talk to her about not being my maid of honor. If he remembered our conversation just a few days ago where I told him canceling my venue that held so much sentiment to me was way too far over the line. He said he did each time and tried to add a but to argue. But I just cut him off with my next example. Go girl. I'm loving this. I told him that after all of that, he 100% should have known I was beyond done with her BS. I told him I was so hurt and pissed that I wanted her uninvited, but he wanted to give her another chance? To what? Cancel our DJ and book a live band? Dye my dress red or show up in white herself? He told me she would never do that. I told him he told me she would never cancel my venue, but then she admitted to it in front of our faces. I told him I don't trust his opinion on his sister and that he is just as delusional as she is if he thinks she will change. I think that deserves a round of applause for OP. Good job, girl, standing your ground. I don't even think I would be this rational if I was her in this situation. He tried to tell me that because Kayla didn't get to have a real wedding when she got married, she was just a little too excited about ours. I told him she has all the right in the world to be excited, but that does not give her any right to insult or change our choices regarding what we want for our wedding. She will have plenty of opportunities to have a real wedding. Exactly what I said earlier. Girl, have your own wedding. You're clearly dying to have a wedding. If she could stop for 2 seconds and take her nose out of our wedding business, she could go out and find a man or woman to marry herself. Poor soul, whoever that may be. I asked him what's next. She gets to name our baby since she lost her own? The look on his face made my stomach feel hollow. Oh no, no freaking way. He told me, and I quote, actually, Kayla does have a few ideas for what we could name our daughter. No way. No way. He's gone too far. Oh my god, he is insane. Daughter? No, don't tell me OP doesn't even know the gender of the baby. Oh my god. Side note, I had mentioned in a comment previously that we were waiting to be surprised about the gender of our baby. We were discussing baby names and had settled on the top 3 for each gender. We agreed to keep them to ourselves until the baby is born. I asked if he said daughter, and he looked like a deer caught in headlights. He backtracked, but I pressed the issue. I asked him flat out if he knows the gender of our baby. He hesitated, but ultimately confessed to remembering that I filled out an information release form at my first OB visit, so he called the office and asked them for the results of our gender scan. Oh, did he now? Claiming that we changed our minds and he was going to do a reveal for me. I feel absolutely sick and violated. I asked him what the F he was thinking. He said Kayla was feeling left out since Sam was planning my baby shower and not including her and that she couldn't wait to find out. My God, the idea that Kayla knew the gender before OP makes me feel sick. This is so far gone. I'm sorry, Nate needs to marry his sister at this point. Like, clearly, she is the most important person in your life. Why even marry OP? Why make her go through this? I demanded he tell me everything. What else has he gone behind my back to do? Did he give her the idea to pretend to be our wedding planner? Was he the one that had her cancel my venue and change our catering? He tried to tell me no, of course not. She did that on her own, but I could just tell he was lying. He absolutely put her up to all of this. What kind of psycho is this? Oh my God. At that point, I didn't even care what he did. It's clear that none of our decisions will ever actually be ours. He will always do whatever the hell he wants to and get Kayla to back him up. I don't even want to think about how many of our decisions in the past were completely undermined and changed by these two. My God, you guys were 3 people in this relationship and OP had no idea. Because they've been together 3 years, as she said in the beginning. I don't think Kayla just appeared out of nowhere just when the wedding preparation happened. So I feel like OP skipped through a lot of information here and just jumped to, the actual story. But Kayla must have been doing these things since the beginning, whether OP knew it or not. This is sick. Absolutely sick. What is wrong with Nate? I hate men like him. I asked him if Kayla came to him and told him everything I'm telling him, that she doesn't feel supported by her partner, that her partner went behind her back to learn the gender of their baby without her, that her partner was retroactively changing every decision that they had agreed upon, that her partner was letting their sibling bully her relentlessly. What would he say to her? He didn't have a response, and honestly, if he did, I didn't want to hear it anymore. I knew the answer. I told him that as the woman who is supposed to be his wife, me, and the baby I'm carrying should be his top priority, not his twin sister. I said him going behind my back like this for something as important as the gender of our baby is absolutely unforgivable. There's nothing that he can say or do to fix this now. I told him I will no longer be marrying him, but it is up to him if he wants to cancel all the vendors. I said, you're more than welcome to use it all to marry Kayla, seeing as she's the one you obviously care about the most. Go OP. That was, I like that energy. He tried to backtrack and apologize and explain, but every time I just cut him off and told him that I had heard enough. And my mind was made up. There's no going back now. If he wants to have even the slimmest chance to get me back and have a real relationship with our baby, he will need to attend some serious therapy and do a lot of work on himself and his relationship with Kayla. I'm sorry to tell you, OP, I think there's no salvaging this, regardless. I told him no woman in her right mind would ever marry him while he was this enmeshed with her. I told him that any contact we have moving forward will be through my lawyer. I want nothing to do with his family, and if I get what I want, they will have nothing to do with my daughter, because I'll be damned if I let him subject her to this treatment. And he will. He definitely will. I put my lawyer's name and phone number on the table and walked out. He didn't try to follow me. Of course he wouldn't. Like the wimp that he is. So now, on top of dealing with my lawyer for the custody case, do I have to file a complaint with my OB office? Are they allowed to just give him this information without my express consent? Or did me stupidly putting him on the information release form I signed give them a blanket consent to share any and all information with him? Yeah, unfortunately, I think you can't do anything about this. He is the dad and you did put him on the form, so they probably didn't do anything wrong here. God, I didn't think this could get any worse, but I guess that's on me for being naive. Oh, I'm sorry, OP. I don't even think you're being naive here. Who could have predicted any of this? This is insane. I'm glad I recorded the conversation, though, and got him admitting to doing all of this. I don't know how or if it will help my custody case, but I sent it to my lawyer with a note that we can discuss more on Friday. I am back at Sam's place now. She was already at work when I got back, but I texted her to wake me up when she gets home. I need my sister. So sad how in this story we have like the polar opposites, the evil sister and the good sister. Yeah, I guess it is a spectrum even with siblings. I also called my mom and told her everything that's happened so far. She cried with me for a while and then asked me if I needed her to do anything. I asked her if she'd be willing to go to the house with Sam and get the rest of my stuff. Because I do not want to see Nate right now. Just picturing his face is making me feel sick. She said she is more than willing. Yeah, I'm so grateful that OP has a good mom and a good sister on her side here. Seems like she really needs them. Kayla did text me again. I'm assuming Nate talked to her after I left. It was a very long, cruel message that I don't want to repeat here. I can post a screenshot if anyone cares for the whole message. I care. I want to know if I can figure out how to attach one. But to summarize, she just called me a delusional control freak who can't let Nate make any decisions for himself. What decisions for himself, girl? You're the one making all the decisions for him, regardless whether it's the bride, OP, or you, Kayla. He's not making the decision himself, so. And insulted my venue choice once again. What is
What's her beef with this venue choice, girl? Oh my god, get over it.
And then said that she hopes my baby is stillborn because I don't deserve to be a mother. My god, she is vile. Who even says things like that? Ugh. I got chills from how evil that is. Honestly, after reading it, I thought the message would hurt, but it just gave me a really good laugh. Well, I'm glad you found it funny, OP, because I think this is so creepy and so weird. I took a screenshot and sent it to my lawyer as well. Yeah, I hope this helps with the custody case in some ways. And that's where we're at. The wedding is off. I will call the vendors tomorrow and see if I can get any deposits back. If not, I let them know to contact Nate and Kayla to see if they would like to keep things as planned. Let them throw a party for all I care. But I will be canceling my venue regardless of my refund. Neither of them are going to step foot in that sacred place if I can help it. Yeah, I hope you can use it for your next wedding. And I hope that you find the best man around for that. I didn't realize how much I was letting this weigh on me until now. I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders, even though a new one is settling in very quickly. Writing everything out like this is truly so freaking helpful for me to process how I'm feeling and what I need to do. I don't know if I'll keep doing formal updates, but for anyone who is interested, maybe I'll just treat this profile like a little journal as this all unfolds. Thank you again to everyone for all your advice and for showing me that I am not crazy. Yeah, I think this has gone beyond am I the asshole? I think we know that OP is not the a-hole here at all. I just feel really bad for her in this situation. This isn't even funny anymore. This is someone's real life. And I'm sorry that she has to go through all of this at only the age of 26. It's so young to be going through all this drama. And Kayla and Nate, I hope karma gets your butts because horrible, horrible humans. Okay, let's read some comments and see what people have to say here. We have a comment here from Crazy Dog Foster Mom that says, not the a-hole. I'm glad you're not going through with the wedding. Also very smart of you to record your conversation with Nate. Please follow your attorney's instructions. I hope you can move home with your mom or go live with your sister. Kayla is crazy, and you need to put security cameras up for your protection. It might be better for you to move out of state to have primary and hopefully 100% custody of your daughter. Revoke the release of medical information. Lock down your medical records with a password since Nate knows your date of birth and probably your social security number. I'm proud of you. I think we're all proud of OP. She has been really strong here. This is some good advice. A lot of the comments are mostly this. As I said, it's not even about am I the a-hole anymore. This is survival and giving this girl some advice. If you live in the US, then yes, you signing the release form of info sheet to include your ex allows them to discuss your medical details. Yeah, it's as I thought. Go back to your OB and any other doctor's office he is on the release. Explain your situation and update the form so he is no longer included. Ask them specifically to make an extra note in your records that this change has been made. Edit. Also make sure to update your emergency contacts, and you might want to double check which phone numbers you provided in your personal contact section. For example, if they asked you for your home number and since you already gave them your personal mobile, but since you don't have a landline, you provided your husband's cell instead, they're allowed to leave message in a voice message. Now, they should not leave anything detailed other than to say, please call us back. But if you are trying to cut him out of all communication, then you should double check. Yeah, this is some good advice as well. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Please leave a like and comment down below. Subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Meow, 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 meow. Meow.
Oh, you like the cameras, Mimi? Meow.